Now, your 13 First Alert weather forecast.
Well, it was a bit of a cooler start this morning for a lot of us as we had some drier air. We had high pressure that's been moving into the area, and that allowed for more radiational cooling, being that we had that mainly clear sky. That brought our temperatures down to the lower 50s. A lot of us fell to the 50s, but a couple spots even a little further than that as we managed to fall into the 40s in our lower elevations and further towards the north. And even in far northern Wisconsin up by Hayward, they dipped into the lower 40s this morning, which again is very rare for most Julys. Maybe not quite the case for this past July, of course. But for this afternoon, we'll rebound fairly nicely as we have already warmed up a bit throughout the morning and into the afternoon, topping out around the 80-degree mark. And again, this is where we'll have those winds pick up ever so slightly out of the southeast, and that's going to help bump our temperatures up just enough that we'll get pretty close to average, which is at 83 degrees this time of year. But speaking of temperatures and, well, how things haven't quite been as warm this year, warmest that we've gotten so far was back on June 18th, where we did top out at 89 degrees. Now, so far, we haven't hit 90 degrees in Eau Claire just yet. That's only happened 5 years in history since we've recorded those temperatures as well. The last time that we went a year without hitting 90 degrees, that was 1951. Now, we do that, of course, on average 10 times a year. The latest that we hit 90 degrees for the first time, August 25th, that was back in 1993. We do have a couple chances at hitting the 90-degree mark upcoming, but today we'll be pretty far from that, and that's been the case over the last couple of weeks. There were a few times where we did get into the 80s, but also a few times where we stayed in the 70s for our high temperatures. This is not very typical of July. Notice again, we had a day that was about 10 degrees below average for our high temperatures last Wednesday, as we only managed to top out at 74 degrees. But if you're a fan of the heat and humidity, you're going to love to see this. This is that upper ridge that's off to our west. That's brought quite a bit of heat towards eastern Montana, western North Dakota, even bringing temperatures into the triple digits in a few of those areas. Now, we're not expecting triple digits, but we could hit that 90-degree mark, and we'll have dew points that are at least into the 60s, if not the 70s over the next couple of days. Now, today, again, feeling a lot more comfortable as our dew points hang out in the 50s, but those continue to climb over the next couple of days as that ridge does move overhead, and we'll have those winds out of the south. Looking ahead at Skycast for the afternoon, we'll have plenty of sunshine. Again, winds ever so slightly picking up out of the south. Staying mainly clear for tonight, and as we have still some relatively drier air in place, it's likely that we'll dip back to the upper 50s. A couple spots may stay in the 60s. But tomorrow afternoon, those winds start to pick up a little bit more out of the south. We'll have some intervals of clouds from time to time. Saturday morning may even start off with a bit of cloud cover, but we get in on more sunshine through the afternoon as those winds continue to ramp up a bit more out of the south, ushering in more of that heat and humidity. Today, though, upper 70s and low 80s for the most part, and as mentioned, falling to the upper 50s later on tonight. Next couple of days in the Coulee region, cranking up the heat. In fact, getting close to 90 degrees on Saturday as we keep some sunshine around. That humidity also builds in before we have those chances at some showers and storms making their return to the forecast both for Sunday and for Monday as we keep that heat and humidity towards the middle of next week as highs remain in the upper 80s. Now for a Sunshine Award, Ryan Carls would like to nominate the Calhoun Memorial Library and says the staff are very friendly and hardworking, and I believe that they deserve this award. Now, if you'd like to nominate someone, send us an email or head over to our website at weau.com.